Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to bring you another kit, I'm afraid. So this one is called Prima Ballerina. So obviously, as the name would suggest, it's featuring ballerinas and things. So again, I just kind of selected a few little items to kind of start the video off, which I just thought looked really super pretty against the colours of the kit. So I'm just going to move them out to one side. And then hopefully kind of at the end of showing you the kit, we'll do a bit of kind of process, you know, using the kit itself. So the kit has got 15 pages, which comprises the body of the kit. So kind of your journaling cards, your pockets, some tags and some stationery and things like that. And then you've got another 10 pages, which are the background pages. So if we show the background pages first, as with kind of most of my kits, the files come to you in two PDF files. So you get one which is the 10-page background papers, and that's so that you can hopefully set your printer to the borderless setting, and that way you get a nice neat print right up to the edges. And then the other PDF is the 15 pages of what I would call the body of the kit. So I'm having to kind of hold my hand here. I've got some paper balanced beside me to try and block the sun out. So I don't normally do videos at this time of day. And it's very sunny, which obviously it hasn't been for the whole of the winter. So I'm having a few problems with the sun. And I'm hoping by the time I've looked at the kit, the sun will have moved out of the way, because I will struggle to do the process, you know, in this light. But so the 10 background pages comprise of the following. So you've got this one. Just move them kind of out of the way and pop them behind me. Then this one here, this one here, this one here, this one here. So I mean, hopefully you've got lots of kind of images here that you can fussy cut out and kind of, you know, tear into bits and things like that, or indeed obviously you could use them, you know, folded over as per kind of, you know, a page in a journal. But lots and lots and lots of pages to you know, give you kind of the most versatility for your projects. And then you've got this one, and then finally you've got this one. So that's your background pages. Your actual body of the kit, sorry, my piece of paper here is moving, so I apologise for the sunlight. So this is the first of the pages, you know, comprising the kind of body of the kit. So you've got some journaling cards, different ones, and then you've got a ticket here. You've got this kind of softened edged ballet shoes. I mean, obviously you could use this how you like. I quite like using the softened edge ones as kind of tearing around them, but that's just, you know, that's just my kind of suggestion. I'm not obviously dictating how you use the kit. This one here is a little banner. Then here on this page, I've got some more journaling cards, another little banner here, a couple more tickets, and some more of those gorgeous soft ballet shoes. On this one here, you've got a couple of kind of postcard style journaling cards. You've got a kind of banner here that could be used kind of down the length of the page, as in like a belly band. You've got another little ticket here, and you've got some flowers there for fussy cutting. You've got some more journaling cards here. You've got some roses, little ticket, and some more ballet shoes. I just want to kind of mention, actually, the flowers look quite grainy. They're taken from some vintage wallpaper images. They were grainy like that when I got them. I think I got these from the Graphics Fairy. And so that, you know, that's how they came, obviously, on the vintage wallpaper. So I just want to kind of point that out, because obviously, you know, it's not my doing. That's how the images are. And I do notice that sometimes when I do scan in kind of vintage images, I mean, actually not even the scanned copy, but sometimes the vintage images themselves, they're kind of grainy. I mean, obviously their printing methods weren't so, you know, precise as ours. So I just want to kind of point that out, because sometimes they are kind of more grainy than others. I have tried to adjust the flowers, which actually I have done with those other pages as well, but I hadn't reprinted them. So these are kind of softer now, but they are still kind of a little bit on the kind of grainy side, as with this kind of journaling card. But again, you know, it's the vintageness that kind of, you know, affects that, I think. So I just want to kind of point that out. So then we've got these, and then on this page we've got one of the pockets here, and you've got a couple of kind of decorative kind of elements, and then some small little postcards there. Another one of those gorgeous kind of ballet adverts. Here you've got another pocket and some little kind of circular tags and bits and pieces. And then on this page you've got another pocket and some more of the roses with the leaves and without the leaves. So you've got kind of really plenty of things to kind of really, you know, I like to kind of hopefully give you lots and lots of choice to be able to kind of alter things, you know, as you want to. You know, or use things as you want to. And sometimes obviously you want big things, sometimes you want tiny things. So hopefully kind of in the kits, you know, you've got kind of everything that you do want. So you've got an envelope here, a little card, which if I recall kind of should fit into the envelope, and another round kind of tag. And then here on this page you've got, sorry, I'm just adjusting my paper here. You've got one of those kind of coin envelopes. And if you can see here, there's a very faint line here, which is where you fold, obviously, you know, to make your envelope up. I mean, obviously it's quite, obviously, I'm using that word all the time now today. So honestly, right, I'm going to stop with that. The lines are quite straightforward, but they are in the obvious places. So, you know, if you can't for any reason see them, which you should be able to, but if you couldn't, you know, you just fold obviously at the end of the flap. So that's that. And then finally you've got some stationery pieces just here. So again, I've popped the stationery pieces right at the end of the kit, so that if you wanted to print them, you know, separately, I have printed obviously those background pages on just copy paper. I printed the rest of the kit onto 160 GSM kind of card, thinnish card, and then I printed the stationery again just on copy paper. So that's why I kind of put that at the end of the file, so that if you want to just print that as kind of stationery, then you can. So that's the kit, and as I say, it's 25 pages altogether. I'm going to move the fabric out of the way so that we can hopefully have a bit of a play now with the kit. Now I'm just going to adjust my setup here slightly. I'm hoping that the sun has kind of moved around sufficiently whilst we were doing that part. So what I thought we could do, just brought some bits and pieces along to kind of have a play with. So the first item is, I have just literally, I mean, I'm just kind of grabbing scraps here, and I thought we'd have a bit of a play with some scraps. So what I've got here is, this is one of those file folders, and as you can see, I mean, I have used it quite a bit already, but this is just literally the kind of end of it. So what I've done, I've just cut a piece off from there, just literally roughly cut, and as you can see, it's a bit scrappy at the edges because it's quite old, you know, but I'm not going to worry about that. And then I've got here some coffee dyed card, which I thought we could possibly make a tag from in a minute if we get time. And then here I've just got some brown paper bag, so we'll kind of see, you know, what we have time to do really. So I'm going to try and sit down for this one, because I do struggle a little bit normally when I kind of stand up to do the process videos, because obviously that's not the best for doing the process part. So I'm going to sit down. Let me check that the sun situation has kind of improved. So I saw a lovely video quite a long time ago, a few months ago, from Patricia, and it was such an inspirational video. She just showed these gorgeous little pieces that she decorated. I can't even remember actually. They're in my favourites anyway. I saved her video to my favourites because it was such an inspirational video. And she literally took some plain kind of card, decorated it up to kind of make little tucks or tags, or, you know, however you wanted to use them. So I thought we'll have a play and do something similar to that. So to my side, I've got some of the spares where I've obviously printed out multiple times while I was trying to get the kit kind of quite how I wanted it. So I thought we'll just literally use some of those little bits and pieces. Now I'm just checking, moving my piece of paper around here to try and block the sun out to the best I can, really. So I've got here some of the background paper. I've got some of the tiny elements from the kit, which, as you can see, I've already kind of fussy cut one out. Those are the other two of those kind of similar shaped ones. So I might just fussy tear around this one and kind of give that a go. And here I've got some of the background page. And I've got also, obviously, the background papers here that I've just shown you. So I'm just going to take some of the background paper. Whoops. Something kind of fall down on my desk, because this one's actually printed on the cardstock, so it's quite thick. So what I'm going to do is decide which piece I'm going to use. Do I want to use the larger one, or do I want to use one of the smaller blue ones? I think I'm going to go for one of the smaller blue ones. So I'm just going to tear around that. So, you know, it's not all about the fussy cutting, because if you don't like that, I think you can get an awesome effect by just, you know, fussy tearing. I can't remember who I heard it use that expression once, but I thought that, you know, describes it really well, doesn't it? It's kind of fussy tearing. So there we go. And obviously, you know, you could neaten that up, so I could kind of like tear a little bit closer to her dress in one or two places, you know. But I mean, obviously, I'm just doing this very quickly to kind of, you know, demonstrate the kit a little bit. So I'm going to move these two out of the way. And then from these gorgeous background papers, I'm just going to pick something that I think will complement this piece really nicely. So I might choose this one here, which is really pretty and, you know, really decorated. So what Patricia did in hers was she just kind of, she used some book page as well. So I might use some sheet music, because again, I'm going with the whole used scraps from my desk. So I'm just going to use some sheet music that I just happen to have, you know, laying about on my desk, and just going to kind of place that there. And then what I'm going to do is just tear off some of the background paper. Oops. Like that. Let me check I'm in frame. Because I don't normally sit down once I've shown the kit, so I'm kind of a bit unsure of my kind of setup now. So I've got here obviously this kind of piece. Now I just want to kind of, you know, lay some around. So I've got this tiny piece in the corner, so I might just you know, again, fussy tear around that little piece there. So that piece obviously, you know, just lends itself to obviously being stuck down in the corner. And then here I've got obviously these big spray of flowers. So I might just literally tear around these. And I must try and stop saying literally, because I had a comment the other day and someone had counted how many times I had said literally. I think it was something horrendous, like 34 times. I mean, bearing in mind, you know, even at my longest videos, they're kind of an hour long. 34 is an incredible amount of times to have said that word, isn't it? So I must try and kind of stop myself from constantly saying literally, but sometimes it's very difficult to get out of habits, isn't it? I mean, I can think of worse words to be constantly saying, but equally, you know, I don't want to constantly be saying literally. Right. So, you know, we could have it kind of like this, or we could have it kind of up there, and obviously then I could just cut around it up there. And then I've got just this smaller piece that I could actually kind of have just poking, oops, poking out to the side. Although then it kind of looks almost like a line, so I'm not sure I'm quite so keen on that. So what I might do is literally, there I go again, literally, glue down my sheet music paper. I have a new glue, so I'm super organised hopefully, and not, you know, spending ages kind of unclogging glue and things like that. So I'll just use that there. I'm going to pull in just a piece of paper for kind of, you know, picking up glue and things like that. And then I'm going to stick these flowers just roughly down here. So I hope everyone's having a good day. We are having a lovely week here. As I always say in these videos, you know, I don't know when I'm going to upload this video because I'm trying to get kind of quite a few in the bag, but today is gorgeous. It's been gorgeous now for several days, and oh, doesn't the sunshine just make you feel so much better? I mean, not necessarily when it's really hot, you know, I'm not necessarily a fan of it being really hot, but definitely it being hotter is preferable, isn't it? And sometimes winter just seems to drag on forever. Right, so I've pulled the background page back in because obviously we've got quite a bit of background page left. So what we could do is kind of tear off something else from the background page. So again, I might just go for another one of the large flower kind of areas. Again, I'll just tear around that. What I might do, and then we can decide whether we prefer the kind of roses or the blues, because is that an overdose of roses, or do we quite like the roses? I mean, it was quite nice to have some blue flowers for this kit, so you know, I hope that you guys think that too. I'll just pop that there. And what I could do, kind of pop that down there as well, actually. It looks kind of quite nice, doesn't it? Okay, so I might have it like that, and then what we could do is kind of even have a little bit of sheet music kind of here. That looks quite nice to me. That looks quite nice. So I'm just going to glue this one down first. Now I haven't decided yet, because obviously, as you can see, I haven't coffee dyed this kit or anything. I'm sure it would coffee dye really nicely, but I'm not quite sure whether to coffee dye it or not, because you know, although I do love the coffee dyed thing, sometimes I really like the clean kind of white of the images and things. They, you know, they're really quite nice, aren't they, kind of in the white. So I'm just deciding. So I'm stuck all over here, so we're going to trim this up in a moment, and then I'm just going to pop this piece of sheet music, whoops, sheet music down behind like that. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do, let me check I'm in frame again, and that sun's come back, so I'm so sorry about this. It's really, really annoying, and I mean, I do love the sun, but I wish it would stay away while I'm doing the video. Let me try and stand here. So I'm just going to stand for a moment to do this, so that hopefully it's a bit less glare. I think I've said before, but my craft area is up in our loft. So we had our loft converted, and it's a kind of big family area. So, you know, the boys have got their PlayStation, my daughter's got a kitchen, and I've got a kind of corner with my craft things. So obviously, because it's up in the loft, we've got a Velux window, and that kind of is behind my desk, and that's where the sun's coming in. I'm going to just scrappily kind of rough the edges here. So that's why I'm unable to block the sun out. Obviously, if it were a normal window, I could just draw the curtains or shut blinds, you know. But because it's a Velux, we have nothing at that window. So I've got no way of kind of blocking the sun out. And obviously, you know, if I weren't doing a video, I'd be kind of welcoming the sun anyway. So that's that piece. Now I'm just deciding whether I do want to edge it at all with anything. I'm just having a quick look through my distress ink colours, because although I only ever really use vintage photo these days, over the years I have actually collected several different colours, but I tend really not to use them very often. So I was just wondering whether kind of anything else would be better. Now I have got this one. Oops. You see, they're about the tidiest thing on my desk, but they're on this tiny weeny shelf that's above my desk, and so now I've kind of disturbed them. They're now knocking everything down that's in front of them. So I have got this one, which is called Victorian Velvet. So I, again, haven't really used this for a really long time, but I wonder whether this might be just kind of really nice to give a more subtle kind of effect, rather than really kind of dark browny kind of colour that, you know, I'd normally kind of go for. Now I'm struggling to find my ink pad, so I'm clearly very, very disorganised today. So I apologise for that as well. Oh, let me just have a look. Oh, this is so annoying. Right. Can't now find an ink pad anywhere. It can only be, there it is. Right. Again, it desperately needs a new sponge, and I haven't done that. So let me just try and dab off some of the brown, because you know, I don't necessarily want that coming off. Right, I'm going to pause the video and get a new ink pad. Right, sorry about that, guys. Right, back now, ready to go. So this one, vintage velvet, Victorian velvet. So let's see how this is going to look. I'm going to test it on here, just to kind of see. Now, can you see that? It's a kind of, I mean, kind of a red, but it's got kind of hints of kind of a maroony colour, but in a very subtle kind of shade, possibly picking up the kind of colour of the rose there. So I'm going to go round, just around the edges of this piece. And I quite like that. I think that's quite nice for a change. And then obviously you can go over it a little bit, you know, kind of as you want. But I don't know whether you could see, but the middle of this had, you know, I'd done some digital kind of enhancement with a kind of colour that actually is quite similar to this ink pad. So it's picking that up really nicely. So I think that was kind of quite a good shout, really. So what I'm going to do is I will go round the edge of this piece just with this Victorian velvet, like that. Now Patricia did do some stamping on hers, and you know, again, it just looked gorgeous. In fact, that's where she mentioned those beautiful stamps from the Wish app. So I might just do a little bit of stamping. I will probably just use my black StazOn, and I will probably just be really boring and just go for a corner stamp. You know, as I always do, they're kind of my go-to, and you know, kind of sometimes I just think, well, if it works, why change it? So I've just stamped that to check it's okay, and then I'm just going to pop this piece of paper just over there so that I don't end up stamping the paper that I've already glued down. So there we go. And then I like to stamp a tiny weeny bit here in this corner. So, I mean, literally you can barely see that. So, but sometimes, you know, it does kind of matter. So there we go. And that's my little piece there. And then what I might do is just back her. I've got some white lace here. Again, that sun's coming through. So I'm just going to take the white lace and I would just glue her onto the white lace, I think, and then pop her kind of on like that. Just check that I want that kind of like that. I mean, she's actually quite nice without the lace, strangely enough, but you know, whoops, I think we will go for the lace. So there we go. So I'm going to just literally pop her down just there like that. Just kind of make sure she's stuck. And I'm just going to trim around her just very roughly. You know, I'm not kind of obviously trying to trim the lace perfectly or anything like that. I'm just literally cutting around it, you know, in quite a haphazard kind of fashion, really. So that's that piece there. And I would just literally pop that on like that. And then what I'm going to do is I've got some pearly kind of trim here, which I thought just would go really nicely with the kit. And I've also got these gorgeous pink flowers. These are, you know, the trims that I've used quite a bit. And I was really lucky because I managed to get them in several different colours. So they were from a shop up in the Lake District, and we go there quite often. And yeah, I mean, they don't have a huge haberdashery kind of department, but they've got a few bits and pieces, and they happen to have quite a lot of kind of nice trims and things like that. So I just managed to pick some of these up when we were there last. So, oops, so we could have that like that. Just check whether I want anything else. Also bought this white lace along because I thought maybe that would be nice. Nope. And I've got this one, which, you know, we've used this lots before. Oops. And I'm just trimming it off because at the top it's got this quite big kind of like seam, which I don't mind that sometimes, but I didn't want that here. So I just thought I would trim it off. And again, these are literally just bits and bobs that are hanging around on my desk. So, you know, I'm really kind of trying to stick with the use what's on your desk thing. Now, I'm just going to quickly have a look and see what that lace looks like if we pop a bit of that gorgeous ink pad on there, because I just wondered whether it might look quite pretty with a bit of kind of you know, whether it would pick up the pink a little bit. So I'm just going to ink that up slightly. Oops. So I don't know whether you can kind of see that. It's not made a great deal of difference, but it is a little bit of a difference. So I think I'm going to do that. So just before I glue this down, just going to go round that lace with that kind of reddy colour. I mean, as I say, it, you know, it's kind of hardly noticeable, but you know what it's like. You kind of know it's there, don't you? So, I mean, you can probably barely see that, but if I just fold a piece of paper over so it's on the white side, and I just bring it up to the camera, hopefully you can kind of see a little bit where it's kind of picked up the reddy kind of tint there. So, you know, although it's not huge, it's a bit of a difference. So that out of the way. And then we're just going to bring that back. Oops. Bring that back like that. And then maybe kind of have a little bit of lace going here. So what I'm going to do is glue this piece down first, and then we don't have to kind of worry. Now for speed, I might glue this with the hot glue, just so as we can kind of get cracking a little bit. I'm just going to press that down with my tissue here, just because it's very hot. And I'm going to do this one in 2 halves because I didn't want it being kind of lumpy, so I'll just kind of glue the rest of it down. Like that. Okay. Okay, so, I mean, that looks so pretty now. And then, obviously, I've got this teeny pink flower on. It's not that tiny, but this pink flower, and I'm just still debating, do I put the lace on or not? I mean, I'm always inclined to think more is more. So I think I will. So I'm just going to literally, there I go again with literally, I'm going to glue that on. And I'm just going to glue it kind of at an angle here at the side. So, and again, just for speed, I'm going to just hot glue this one on. Like that, and then like that. Got a great big piece come off of my glue gun there. Kind of horrible piece of glue. Right, I've got that. And then I'm just going to glue this gorgeous pink flower on there. Like that. And obviously I've got these little pearls, which again, actually, they're not that little, they're quite big. Oops, which we could pop on. I have got some of that Diamante, which I love using. And again, I mean, I'm literally, there I go again with the literally. Right, let me stand here again, try and block the sun out. So again, you know, this is just stuff that's laying around on my desk. So I will use this, and I'm just going to, I think, use wet glue to try and not burn my fingers mainly. So I would just pop that down like that. Oops. Just tuck that under that flower. There we go. So that's that piece. And then what I'll do, I just cut out a journaling card from the kit. So, you know, anyone will do, but we'll just take one of these, I think. I'll just cut those out. And I've just cut this one out while we're here. I'm standing trying to block the sun out, and obviously now the sun's beating down on me, absolutely sweltering. So yeah, I'm now very hot. So I need to remember, because obviously I've never had this problem before, because I only started using my own desk rather than my son's since the winter. So I've never obviously experienced the whole, you know, sun streaming through. But I'll have to remember now not to do videos at this time of day. Right, or if I do, I'll have to come up with something better than this flimsy piece of paper that's flapping around. So I've got those two. Let me just bring in a blank journal just to kind of show you how that's going to look. I really am so sorry about the sun here. It's really infuriating. So this is the piece that we've just made. I would then just glue it on kind of two sides, pop it down on the page, and you've got a gorgeous tuck spot for, obviously, you know, a couple of journaling cards there. So, you know, super pretty, came together really quickly. And then, you know, if you wanted to kind of add anything more, I've just got some fabric ruffle here. You could just add a bit of fabric ruffle kind of at the bottom of there, or going down the page, oops, like that. So, you know, really pretty and really easy to do. So, you know, kind of really quick. So I just thought I'd show you that. So just move this out of the way. I'm still trying to block the sun. Whew, and really getting hot now. Okay. So we'll just pop these out of the way. Now the next thing that I said that we would try and do if there was time. So I have got this coffee dyed piece of card here. Now this was actually a card. So you can quite slightly see the original fold mark there. Obviously I've coffee dyed it and I've ironed it. So it's no longer, you know, it's not prone to bending there, although you've got the slight ridge. So all I'm going to do is cut it down to tag size. So probably going across here, I think. Now we could do, you know, traditional kind of tag shape, or we could just leave it as a kind of more like a rectangular tag, because sometimes I quite like that. So let's just do that, I think. So just get those pieces out the way. Right. Sorry about the sun. Okay. So what we could do is, I mean, we could cover the whole of the tag in some of the background paper, or we could just use, you know, torn pieces of paper. So let me grab, sorry, I'm having a bit of a disaster here. It's getting so hot so I can't really focus properly. So, okay. So now I've knocked the whole set up. Right, again, I'm trying to stand and block out the sun. This is just so not ideal. Okay. So if we pick a background paper to use for the tag, so maybe pick this one, which looks pretty, like that. Now what you could do is kind of cut it and have it inside, so you've got a kind of edge there. These are kind of what I would think of as more like, yeah, like a kind of tag a bit for a kind of mini album, I suppose. So I might do that because I think that's quite nice. So what I'm going to do is cut around it here. Now I'm obviously going to make a shocking job of cutting this because I'm sweltering, stood up. I've got a piece of paper kind of tucked under my armpit, you know, trying to block out the sun, and yeah, not ideal for a kind of craft process at all. So I will apologise in advance for the state that this will look, but there we go. Obviously I will just trim this up slightly now. Right. Okay. So we've kind of got that. I mean, obviously this is not perfect because, you know, I'm not really kind of, I'm not in perfect kind of conditions, but never mind. We'll just go for it anyway. So what I'm going to do is round the corners. Like that. All the pieces have now dropped out from the corner punch. Again, this is turning into one of those comedy kind of sketches really, rather than a process video, but never mind. So if we were going to kind of stick that down like that, I'll just check whether it's kind of straighter on one piece than the other. Okay, I mean, I don't think you're going to be, you know, really going to notice too much, to be honest, once it's kind of all decorated up like a nice pretty tag anyway. But you know, obviously I'm very aware of it because I'm doing it here on video. So yeah, right. Oh, come on, son, hurry up and move around. Okay, so we've got that, and I'm just going to use my Starbucks card, spreading the glue out a little bit, kind of across the tag there. Oh, how pretty does that look? Well, I think it looks pretty anyway. So we just trim that down like that. So hopefully it looks a little bit straighter now. And then I'm just going to, again, round the corners, just because obviously the corners of the paper have been rounded. So just kind of round those. Oops. Like that. So hopefully that's looking really pretty now. So that's that. And then what we're going to do, let me just move the background papers off of the chair. Excuse me. And then what we'll do is we will just take one of the pieces from the kit to literally pop down on there. So let's use this one here or this one here. Now again, these are obviously just these pieces of paper whilst I was trying to get the kit how I wanted it. So, you know, that's why they're printed kind of double-sided. So I'm just going to kind of cut that out very scrappily, and then I'm going to kind of tear around it. And I'm also going to cut a couple of the roses off of the bottom, just in case I'd like to use those. So what I'm going to do is just tear around her, but not around her shape, if you see what I mean. So I'm going to tear her more like a square, well, a kind of rectangle, and not a neat rectangle, or even maybe not even a rectangle, but like that. Oh, the sun's gone in. It's just such a relief. Right, so that's kind of her. I mean, it's a shame actually to even cover those flowers up. They look so pretty. Right, so what I'm going to do is just take again that gorgeous Victorian velvet and just ink around her just with that pretty colour. I mean, literally, I haven't used this ink pad for yonks. I bought it obviously years ago when I did mainly card making, and I'm surprised it's even still working, you know, and not completely dried out. And what I might do actually is go round again the edge of the tag. I mean, obviously this is coffee dyed, so, you know, it's not necessarily picking it up brilliantly, but I'm kind of picking it up on the background page there as well, just to give it a bit of a kind of pinky kind of tone. So I'll pop that out of the way. I'm trying to make a really big effort to keep my ink pads closed, actually. Not closed, sorry, face down, because, you know, sometimes I do find they're a bit dry. And obviously I have heard before, you know, keep them face down, but I always just forget to do that. But so many people have mentioned it in videos, and so I'm really trying to make an effort to do that. And actually, it does make a huge difference. So thank you for reminding me, everybody, to do that, because it is, you know, it is actually quite a difference that it makes. Right. So again, I just glue on there. I'm just going to kind of glue that down onto the lace. Oh, the sun's come back out, so it's boiling again. Not often that we're actually wishing for the sun to go in, is it? You know, especially when we haven't seen it for so long, but... Okay, I'll just literally trim around here. Right, so I've got that like that. So I will just quickly ink up a bit of that lace like we did last time, because, you know, as I say, it didn't make a huge difference, but it did make a bit of a difference. And, you know, it's nice to have the kind of continuity between the pieces, isn't it? So just kind of ink that like that. Okay. So that's her. Oh, doesn't she look pretty? Okay, so that's that one. And then what I'm going to do is fussy cut out at least one of these roses. I may use two, I may not use any, but might as well, you know, try them out. So and what I love about fussy cutting things like roses, you know, they're obviously, you know, the petals are very kind of misshapen and jaggedy anyway, so they're very forgiving when you're kind of cutting around them, I think. So, you know, that's always kind of a good thing, isn't it? So I've just got that rose there. Just going to just ink around the edges, because again, if the edges look at all kind of jaggedy where you've cut them, I always find that if you just ink them, it covers up a multitude of sins. So can you see that? Just by literally inking around there, it's just really helped to, you know, disguise any kind of scrappy cutting. So that's that. So I'm going to just literally, oh, there goes that word again. Just going to glue this on. And again, really, I should have used the hot glue, but my ability to focus in this heat has gone now. Right. And I'm popping her down here, and the reason I'm doing that is because I really didn't want to cover up all those gorgeous flowers in the end, because they just looked so pretty. So I've just popped her on like that. And then we could just have this kind of little rosebud just either to the side, or we could kind of have it up there. I mean, it's actually quite nice hanging off of the tag. The only thing is, obviously, I've printed on the back of that, so that's kind of overhanging, which I don't really like that. But I mean, probably I'm being a little bit over fussy, but perhaps I'll have it there instead. It is nicest on this side though, isn't it? So perhaps I'll have to just put up with the fact that it's got that kind of hanging effect. So then I've got some of those gorgeous kind of ivory flower trims. Not necessarily going to use these, but I thought again we could just try them, kind of see what we think. So I mean, that looks quite pretty, doesn't it? Let's do that. So I'm just going to literally hot glue this on, and I'm going to hot glue it intentionally with the hope to kind of have it a bit raised, you know, kind of instead of actually using those kind of sticky out foam pads. The hot glue just literally gives it a little bit of a kind of lifted effect, but not actually raised, if you see what I mean. So that looks quite pretty like that. And then I'm just going to kind of glue that little ivory flower, I think, down there. So again, I would just hot glue that on just for speed, like that. Oh, the sun is back out again. Right. And then I'm going to take the lace again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a kind of tab for the tag. And I want quite a wide piece of the lace, I think. And I'm just going to kind of pop it on here. Now again, if I had my sewing machine here, I would probably stitch this on, because obviously you could just stitch it across and it would look really nice. I don't have my sewing machine up here, you know, because obviously it's not practical. I haven't really got space up here to have my sewing machine, and obviously I don't want to stop the video again. So I'm just going to go with it like this, and you know, that's absolutely fine. You know, for me, that kind of still works perfectly well. And then what I'll probably do is pop some trim across there to cover up the glue. So I'm just going to run a line of glue roughly where I want that, like that. And then obviously turn it over. I'll just run a bit of glue kind of on the other side. Like that. I quite like these kind of great big wide tabs. I think they're quite they're quite nice, aren't they, for a bit of impact. So that's that. Oops. Okay, just lean that like that for a moment. And then what I'll do, actually it's a little bit on the long side, so let me just try and move that down slightly. So again, I'll just pop a bit more glue there. I mean, this is the bonus of using the wet glue as opposed to the hot glue. So there we go. Okay. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of trim and pop that across. So I might use this like colourless kind of trim, or we could use the black trim, which I love using. Again, I mean, these are just bits that are laying around on my desk, kind of offcuts where I've been doing things before. I'm not kind of making any sort of special effort or anything. I'm just literally grabbing things kind of as I see them. So like that. I quite like the black, I think. So just going to pop that down. Excuse me a minute, that's my phone now. Oh, thankfully it's run off. So I'm just going to pop that there. And again, just so as I don't burn my fingers, I'm going to literally, oh, there goes that word again, literally. I wonder how often I actually use that in the course of a day in my normal life. My normal life as opposed to my YouTube life. You know, I wonder whether literally is something that I'm constantly saying everywhere else, or whether it's a thing that comes out when I'm doing these videos. I'm not sure. So I've popped that to the side. Maybe it would have been better in the middle. I don't know quite why the side was kind of pulling me, but I'm just going to apply a little bit more glue. There we go. Oh gosh, come on. It's just sticking all over me. Right. So, you know, to me, that's enough. I don't think it really necessarily needs anything else whatsoever. You know, but obviously it's all a matter of kind of taste and choice, isn't it? And, you know, you may kind of think it would need some other bits and pieces. I might just try here a little kind of resin flower or something kind of here, or maybe kind of down here, maybe up here. Yeah, I'm going to pop on there on that side, and I'll just use a bit of hot glue just for kind of gluing that on. Oops. So that's my son. He's just got in from school. So, right. Okay. So, I mean, I think that tag just looks absolutely gorgeous, just literally as it is. And I mean, obviously this is just a tag, but I'll just kind of show you how it would look kind of in your journal, and you could obviously paper clip it onto a page, or, you know, however you like really. So, I mean, that's probably all we're going to have time for today, because unfortunately the sun kind of really delayed things quite a lot. But that's kind of just a couple of examples of, you know, ways to use the kit. And yeah, it was nice to come and have a play with it, and I hope you guys kind of got some ideas from it. And obviously I will put the link below if you wanted to go and check it out and just have a look around my shop and see what you think. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope you have a really great day. Thanks a lot then. Bye.